I would get more to the right of it. First left, I suppose.
Hello everyone, we are RescueNet and thank you for coming tonight. First, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our team. My name is Stein Witt, I'm the designer of RescueNet, and I study mechanical engineering and computer science here at the U.
My name is Evan Blas, I'm the beauty and the brains. I have some experience in outdoor connections and with some of the other beautiful things that have to happen with the project.
My name is Antonio Ruiz Ayala. I was a research on the project, and I'm a chemical engineering student here, and I like to rock climb and I like to ski.
So, snowmobiling is one of the most fun and exhilarating winter activities, and I can't think of any other way I'd rather spend my winter. One of the reasons it's so great is because it's so remote. It's just you and your friends out in the mountains having fun, probably daring each other to hit a cliff or jump that's definitely out of your skill zone, but you do it anyways. It adds to the adrenaline and excitement of the whole experience, and that's what keeps millions of snowmobilers returning to the mountains every year. But with all this fun also comes a lot of danger. Just last year alone, there were over 14,000 reported deaths and injuries of snowmobilers. Even simple accidents such as tipping your snowmobile upside down can cause suffocation, and you only have a few minutes in that case. One of the reasons snowmobiling is so dangerous, though, is not because like the dangers I just listed, such as flipping your snowmobile, but because of how remote you are. It's ironic. The thing that makes it so great is also the thing that makes it so dangerous. So when you're out here, and say you flip your snowmobile, who's going to come rescue you in such a remote environment without cell service or GPS? The sheriff's department might be able to, but probably in 8 hours with a helicopter to come rescue your body. So this is really not all that optimal of a solution, and considering, especially since millions of snowmobilers are going to return, there has to be a better answer. So this answer is actually your friends. Your friends are your rescuers. The #1 rule of traveling in the backcountry is you never travel alone. If you're a skier or snowmobiler in here, you know this. You never travel alone. Your friends are there not only for your entertainment, but also to be your rescuer. But this still leaves the same question for your friends who need to rescue you. How do they find you quickly? How do they find you and find you quickly enough in such a remote area where there's little to no cell service or GPS signal? It's often easy to lose sight of your friends or lose them by just 50 yards. This leads us to our second problem, finding your friends quickly enough when they need rescuing. If, for example, you tip your snowmobile in the deep snow, which can cause suffocation in just minutes, you have to be found very quickly before it can turn fatal. So, to mitigate this type of situation, you need a device that's both wireless and can automatically send an emergency alert signal to everyone in range. I like to think of this device almost like a life alert that your grandparents have. But instead of it saying, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get out of the bathtub," it says, "Help, I'm in trouble with my snowmobile at XYZ coordinates," so your friends can get to you quickly and rescue you, potentially saving your life. This leads us to our solution.
As Stein so eloquently put, there's two main issues that we have. The first one is locating the person in trouble. The second one is getting there fast enough. RescueNet solves this in two simple ways. First off, the RescueNet transceiver attached to the front of your snowmobile will automatically go off if you are flipped under or in some kind of emergency situation. This then alerts the rest of the group through flashing lights, flashing lights, loud noises, and vibrations, which alerts even the most experienced driver going through tons of snow, hey, something is wrong. The second part of this is now the phone is inside your pocket. The riders able to pull out the phone and get exact GPS coordinates to turn around and start rescue efforts. So RescueNet is not like other transceivers or avalanche beacons. We set ourselves apart using long-range radio transmissions and dead reckoning to better pinpoint the exact location between transceivers. Unlike other systems, which traditionally, or maybe not untraditionally, can be unreliable and not even used in other countries, which Antonio will talk about here in a second.
Our product is the RescueNet transceiver. It's simple, easy to use, and designed to feel almost invisible. The first step to use our product is simply mount the transceiver to your snowmobile. Once the transceiver is mounted to your snowmobile, you're connected wirelessly within a 10-mile radius to your friends and fellow riders. If you think 10 miles is a pretty short radius, it takes almost 6 hours for a snowmobiler, especially in densely wooded backcountry conditions, to travel 10 miles. So if your friends are 10 miles away,
You have bad friends.
and they're certainly not coming to rescue you. Now that you're connected with everyone wirelessly, if any emergency happens, the RescueNet transceiver will either automatically or manually send an emergency signal to everyone in range with your coordinates. This can happen automatically. For example, if a rider is trapped under the snow, maybe suffocating and incapacitated, our onboard sensor will automatically sense this and send out a distress signal. If, however, they're still severely injured, they can easily press the help button on the transceiver and it will also send the same signal with their coordinates so they can be rescued as quickly as possible.
So let's take a look at our market validation. One of the first things that we wanted to do when coming up with RescueNet was identifying the size of our market. We're looking at an approximate snowmobiling community of 2 million snowmobilers in North America alone. Now, one of the things that snowmobilers are doing are they're going up to the slopes and hitting sweet jumps skiing. And that's why we've also added 2.5 million skiers in the backcountry as well. Now, the other thing that we wanted to do was establish the problem that we're looking at. And it's clear that clients fear inconsistent and unreliable communication. And this is evident, as a matter of fact, because Garmin inReach has been banned in different countries because of this. And then the last thing I want to emphasize is that $35 billion are spent alone in snowmobiling. This doesn't include clothing, it doesn't include gear, and it doesn't include trucks to haul your snowmobiles, and it certainly doesn't include accessories. Looking at our potential customer base, we're looking at about, if we were to reach all of them, we would be estimated to reach a revenue of $2.9 billion. If we were only able to reach 25% of that customer base, we would be looking at a revenue of $720 million. Now, in year 3, our projected revenue growth is at 36 million. At an estimated 10% growth year over year, at year 5, we are estimated to reach $180 million.
So, as Antonio put, we were looking at reaching $180 million by year 5. Right? There's a couple things we want to highlight why we got this projection. For one, our user base has a median income of over $100,000. This is on the low end of that spectrum. These are affluent people that can afford to spend money on things like snowmobiling, the trailers, the trucks, everything that's needed to be required to buy them. Second thing we want to point out is that our regular transceiver is $600 with a $40 per year firmware subscription that can be purchased as well. So using this 5-year projection, it's easy nowadays, we live in a society where $1 billion doesn't seem like a lot of money, right? It gets thrown around every single day. So I want to highlight what $180 million really looks like for us. If we were to take all this money down and lay it end to end, it would stretch the entire Wasatch Front Mountain Range, all 160 miles, 17 times. This is only in 5 years from now, we'll be making that much money. So the other thing we want to talk about is how we're going to actually achieve this. We have a 3-tier system that we're planning on implementing to actually achieve these goals. The first thing is targeted marketing. We want to reach out to Instagram, Twitter, actually Facebook marketplace groups, even going around stapling things on fence posts to highlight what RescueNet is. After this, we're going to bring the idea to trade shows, different kinds of snowmobiling groups, outdoor events. We want people to talk about this, show it off, get it in people's hands. Finally, we want to look at the influencers. The influencers are the people that we really want to highlight and give out our product. We want people that use our product to have actual testimonials from those they idolize. Besides, I know we talked a lot about money and how much that is, but RescueNet's about safety. We want people to come home every day. We want people to think, I need this thing to save my life. And there's no better way to do that than having people actually use it and say, hey, this is what I need, this is what you need, it's worth the one-time price.
Another thing we needed to do was identify just exactly what we're up against so that we're as successful in achieving our adoption strategy as our ever so handsome Evan has pointed out. Now, the first thing I want to point out is our rivals. Our rivals are the things that people do instead of purchasing our product. People turn to smartphones and smartwatches, and sometimes they even just skip all of it, use manual checks, and use general satellite messengers. This is part of the reason why we see a lot of injuries and deaths year over year. Now, our ankle gliders are those who think they compete with us. These are your traditional avalanche beacons. They're not necessarily what RescueNet does. Now, as far as the emergence, which is one area that I want to point your attention to, it's pretty empty, isn't it? This is why we fit so well in this market. There isn't an emergent technology like RescueNet on the market. And now, while we do have our contenders that we're going up against, RescueNet provides an automatic distressing. RescueNet is simple. It provides a rapid response. It's built for snow sports. And it has low long-term costs. And that's what sets us apart from our competition. RescueNet is currently valued at about $8 million based on our 5-year projections. We're asking for $15 million in total investment for 30% equity in RescueNet. Now, for us, we're excited to get up in the snow, and we hope it gets deeper. And if you're ready to invest in RescueNet, we hope your pockets get deeper too. Thank you.